Land acknowledgements are often presented in shared spaces where we gather in person. But on a podcast, we recognize that each one of us occupies space on Indigenous land. We call on you, our listeners, to acknowledge that Indigenous people are the original inhabitants and caretakers of this land and have distinctive and sovereign rights and responsibilities that are directly connected to the land, community, culture, and knowledge.
With this in mind, please take the time to find out what territory you are on at native-land.ca and support our amazing Indigenous firecrackers like Tracy Deer, who directed and co-wrote with Meredith Vuknik the incredible film Beans. For more information about this amazing film, go to Instagram at Apollo Cinema. Naomi Sneakers.
And I'm Amanda Brugel.
You really are. And this is the Blaze Sessions. Okay, Amanda, first of all, you look like a school mistress with the math in the background and your little white collar, your little RGB collar.
It's a yoke. A yoke.
Beg your pardon.
A yoke.
I had eggs for breakfast as well. Hey, I know that you're on a schedule, so I know we can't talk too long because you have a huge gig today. Congratulations, first of all, on booking this.
Thank you. I'm chaperoning my children's school dance.
I'm just going to tell you, I did not get asked to do that gig, so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a big deal.
So what is your job when you go? Do you have to serve punch and not put any like vodka in it? Is that the rules?
I'm selling sour keys. I'm selling chips. The sour rings, the ring pops were a hot item. They went fast. I'm selling Doritos. Can we say Doritos on this?
I don't think we just did. I think we can say anything. It's our show. And also Doritos might just send us a whole bunch of free Doritos. So send it away.
So yeah, it's very cute and it raises money for the school and the children are very cute. Post-pandemic though, it's a lot of fingers, a lot of touching, a lot of exchanging money. And so I my hands are so dry, so I am clean. Just so both of you know I'm clean. But
I appreciate that.
Our guests, by the way, is not clean.
I mean, I feel like we're really at a very good distance because we're on Zoom. So I feel like it's gonna be okay. I have to also say, okay, before you introduce our guest, very excited. I'm very excited. We caught her a little not off guard, but she had to deal with her dogs, which is a hint. And she had to deal with looking beautiful, which was way too easy for her. And we're both pissed about it. Okay, could I ask you just a little bit of background on the Amanda Brugel process? Because I'm telling you what this is. For me, I made my hair. I'm never happy. Every time I look at you, I'm like, oh man, she's gorgeous. And I'm like, Naomi, you could do better. What's your process?
Of getting ready?
Yeah, like for something like this, or like, do you get ready every day? Do you like do the thing every day?
Oh God, no. This is just for this because I know it's going on camera and I have an ego. And but
look at me. I'm constantly checking it out. You and I both. And plus you've got the chaperoning thing, so you have to look pretty for that.
The rest of the time, no, just no makeup, yoga pants, mom pants, weird mom clothes. And yeah, I think it's why we like to do this because like when you go to set, you can get all dolled up or go to events, you can get pretty. And then in your daily life, you can look even more decrepit than the average person would because we have a swing.
I just spit a lot. But I used to think that when you went to set, I was like, I'm going to look as decrepit as possible because then the makeup and hair people will be like, oh, I can't wait to transform her. But really what he would go is like, is that your baseline? Well, we'll just put some blush on her. And then I'd be like, oh, I go to the makeup trailer. I go to my own trailer and be like, fix.
It's not great. I mean, I also tend to play characters that aren't as nearly as done as I am as Amanda. And so that's also kind of fun and cool because like some character, for example, I'm on a show right now and they really do me up and I love it, but it's on other shows, especially Canadian shows, they throw a little like mascara and it's usually someone who's been, working in the business for a long time, doesn't use new products. This is getting mean, but how
many rounds of pink eye can one do?
I know.
And so then do you go to the trailer when you've like been, simplified and go, I'm just going to do a little, like, this is me doing my makeup this morning. Boop.
Nice. No. I don't, if I've been simplified, it was for something like Handmaids or, I don't know, even something like Pastor Nina, I would leave it because I love it. But if I'm supposed to look nice, like a normal person, and it's, a makeup person from, I don't want to get mean. I usually retouch up my makeup and
Yeah,
retouch up my hair.
here's the other thing is I feel like it's only recently that the makeup industry in the film and TV industry, is that too many industries? But they've kind of been like, hey, we should actually find people of color to do makeup and not just
Yeah.
hope that it works out.
I think it's getting better. This is something I would like to talk to our guests about. I think it's getting slightly better in which they're acknowledging that there's a shortage, and there's acknowledging that there's a disconnect between, the amount of artists or the qualified artists we have here versus the people um, that are on camera. But I think we have so far to go. It's pretty bad.
Well, I mean, just quickly before we get to our guest, but you had an incident when you were on set with a like a semi-nude scene, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, they just gave me, this was not hair related, but they just gave me that you get nudes, like little cover up pasties for your body. And when they cast me, I knew I was the only Black person in the cast, and they just kept handing me white, like cover ups for Caucasian people. And I kept putting it on my skin and having to show them. It was devastating. And just kept having to remind them that it's not going to work. And they were so confused. They wanted to spray paint it. They wanted to, it was ridiculous. And it's just what we have to deal with on a daily basis, that for the longest time it felt normal. And it's only until other people started talking about it I realized, oh, this isn't normal. It's not supposed to be this way. You're not supposed to spray paint my clothes.
Yeah. But you speak up. Hey, you speak up and you speak out. And speaking of vocal people in the world in our industry, I feel like this is the segue that's going to pull
nice
in.
Nice, nailed it. It's well, this person, in choosing this person, was like, I think, the first person on the list in just being uh, just so smart and kind and funny and prepared and talented and accomplished, but also really teaching me personally a lot on how to navigate set and how to speak up with still kindness and authority without being perceived as a psychopath or aggressive or a bitch. And yeah, I really learned a lot from my time with her on set. So I'm going to get into her. She had a successful career in marketing and advertising for Fortune 500 companies. Yes, but then
that blew my mind.
She moved to New York to complete her MFA in drama at the New School University. She's had a massive voice career for brands like Vaseline and the New York Lotto and McDonald's, and in series like Doug Unplugged and Curious George, which I didn't know.
That she did Curious George so much.
She's also a thespian. She's consistently worked on stage for theaters such as La Jolla Playhouse, Playwrights Horizons, the Public Theater, and she is currently starring in Black Odyssey at Classic Stage Company in New York. I don't know if it's been extended. I think it might have. We'll have to ask her about it. She's, hold on to this. She's an NAACP Image Award nominee, a SAG Award winner, and most recently, couple of weeks ago, a Canadian Screen Award nominee for her lead in a comedy performance. You'll know her from series like 30 Rock and Orange is the New Black and Pretty Hard Cases. It's ridiculous. She is hilarious and loving and smart and wild. Everyone, hold on to your butts. It's Adrienne C.
I'm holding on to my butt. That's all there is to it. Adrienne! Oh! Oh my gosh, our intro was so long it gave her time to change her top and put lipstick on.
Check it out. Check it out.
Oh, gorge.
How did you do that? Sorry, just listeners, you have to know that when we first saw her, she looks gorgeous. And when she looked gorgeous this morning, but she ran down to the salon and got a full makeover in the time.
Is that a filter?
I woke up like this.
That's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. While you all were having your intro, and I was completely embarrassed when I logged on earlier. I was like, I need to do a little something. So I was like, I'm going to keep on just touching up things until they call me to come on, until they call my name.
You look gorgeous.
You look stunning.
The last time I saw you, Adrienne, we were sitting in our backyard. Were we having lobster? Were we being super fancy?
It's so funny you say that. We had Was it lobster?
No, crab.
You kept saying you made lobster, but you didn't make
oh,
lobster.
Look at that
I was
face.
late. And you were like,
crap.
oh, the lobster's going bad. The lobster. It wasn't no damn lobster.
It was lobster tail. That's what it was. It was lobster tail.
You know, funny thing is, I actually made a lobster tail that's in my oven right now.
What?
We'll be smashing that when we're done.
Oh my gosh.
No, we didn't have a real lobster.
So what do we have? Like hot dogs and beans?
Soup. You made a soup.
Was it okay?
No, I don't think so.
No, it wasn't. It was, but you did have my mouth ready for some lobster, though.
I just feel like I wouldn't have given, if I'm promising you lobster, this is what I think, and I'm going to have to check, I'm going to fact check with Matt Barham, because he gets so excited when guests come over, and I was like, Adrienne's come over, and he's like, we're making lobster tails. I'm like,
no,
that's a bit
it was,
fancy.
I'm telling you, it was like a pot stew dish.
That sounds
awful. You were playing with me. I'm gonna go back to the text messages.
Yeah.
Because at one point I said thanks for the lobster, and I put it in quotes.
Okay. I have a question for you. My first question, let's start this off. What human being makes themselves lobster at 12 o'clock midday?
This one.
The human being that buys it on Sunday, and it's like, if this doesn't get cooked today, it's gonna go
bad. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
There was no, I wish I could be like, oh honey, lobster.
Yes.
That's just on a
must
Thursday.
Be a Thursday.
No, it's because it's already 3 days old and it's about to be bad. So,
I hate wasting food. I'm with you.
Also means the lamb that I bought also has to get cooked probably tomorrow.
Lamb? What, do you have venison as well? What is happening?
No. You know what it was? Long story short, I inherited another dog, which is a whole nother story. And I found myself.
So you're a 3 now?
Yes. And this guy is like 4 times, 5 times the size and the weight of my 2 little ones. And he eats a lot. He eats 2 pounds of raw meat a day.
Oh my God.
So I'm at the grocery store and I'm buying the family size raw meat. And I'm like, these little mother effers are like eating better than me.
I know. Rufus too.
And so from that thought, I said, I'm about to go get me something nice.
Good. I love that.
So that's how I got lobster and lamb wrap. Because I was like, if they eating raw meat.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you, you're in New York right now.
I'm in New York. I'm currently on Black Odyssey.
Oh man, is it the time of your life? Because this is where you started. You started in like.
Can I just tell you, we've had some amazing people roll through here. Like we had LaShawn's a couple days ago. We had Andre DeShields, who won the Tony in Hades Town, came. What's her name? Lynn Nottage was there last night. I mean, you're talking about icons of the theater.
Yes.
Like icons.
But what's it like? Because this is where you started. Like when you left Tennessee, right? You're from Tennessee. You left Tennessee, moved to New York with like, this is what I'm picturing, like a cute little suitcase. And you're sitting on the edge of your suitcase going, I'm going to make it. And then suddenly somebody goes, hey, let me make you a star.
Spreading the news. Literally.
And you start working in theater almost right away, right? In New York?
Actually, I moved to New York for graduate school. And yes, in a way I did, because I knew when I was thinking about graduate school programs that I wanted to be in a city that was vibrant with culture and the arts, whether it was theater, television, film. I just knew I wanted to be at a place that had it all at my disposal. And so when I moved to New York, I moved like a month before school started, just to get set up, just to kind of, get my bearings, know how to get around New York on the subway, all that kind of stuff. And my school, the new school at the time, well, they still do. They have a great relationship with the 24-hour play company. If you've ever heard of them, because some of the students that graduated from the program went, started working there and da-da-da-da. So they had remembered me from my audition, and they were like, hey, would you mind participating in our 24-hour play? At that time, it was like one of their like 25th or 30th like anniversary or something like that. So I was already participating in this off-Broadway show at the Lucille Lortel Theater with her name I'm forgetting, but Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell was in my, I was like, yo, I am doing it.
I know.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is my first introduction to New York, even before I start school. I didn't get paid, but I didn't do it for paycheck. I did it because I was like, this is my first New York theater credit.
Yeah.
Hotel theater, the 24-hour theater company, and I had a credit.
That is phenomenal. So
amazing.
Is that why, I mean, because you're known and a lot of people know you, absolutely know you for your work in series and in film, but is your love theater? Like, is that your absolute love?
Theater's my love. It's my gym. It's, I mean, the great thing about theater is I feel as though you always get a chance to do it again, to do it over, to do it better, to find it deeper, to go farther. Theater, I mean, television and film, it's like you can do all that, but you got to do it today. You got to do it today on this set take in this scene because we're moving on from it. But I feel like in theater, I can always like go back to the language, go back to the story, go back to what it is that brought us, all together to tell this powerful tale. So it's definitely one of my love languages for sure.
So with the play that you're doing right now, are you feeling like, I always think that roles come to us to make us learn something about ourselves. Do you know what I mean? Is there something, and also the process of theater, right? So you're not just like rehearse on the day, and then by the end of the day, it's almost out of your head. This is something you're living in for months.
Yeah.
What are you learning about yourself there?
That I'm still evolving as an artist. I think a lot of times people think that, you've made it to a certain place or degree or area in your career and you've made it. And I ain't made it.
What do you mean by that though? Like, what does that mean? Are you bumping up against stuff? I love it.
After you kind of get over the like, I guess I'm not all that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm still shocked. There isn't a sneaker street somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Once you get over that,
once you get over that hump, and you're like, okay, but they brought me here for something. Obviously, somebody saw something in me, Then I think you can kind of peel away that ego of that mask and, say, hey, you know what? I got into this for the love of it. Not to say that I reached a certain thing or I did a certain thing. I mean, that's great if you can get there, but I got into it for the love of telling story, for the love of, I tell this story all the time. The first time I caught the bug, was on a stage and it was the best Christmas pageant ever. And I had done like little dance recitals and things like that, but it was something about this play in particular as a kid. And I was just a little angel. I had no lines aside from the little chorus lines, but I got to be on stage the majority of the time. And what I got to do was look at the audience and I could see the expressions on their faces. I could see their love. I could see their happiness. I could see their enjoyment of the script. And I was like, oh, I love this feeling. I love that that what I'm a part of is evoking this, from people. And so I was like, I want to do this. And my mom actually reminded me, a few years ago, we were just having a conversation and a look back conversation on my career. And she was like, girl, I remember you used to have me running all over this city of Atlanta with your auditions that you were finding in the newspaper. And
really? How old were you at this time? How old were you?
So I blame my mom because I was supposed to go to North Atlanta High School, which had an amazing theatrical arts program. I had auditioned, I had gotten in and everything. So up until about middle school, I was always somehow or another involved in the arts, whether it was like extracurricular activity or the school itself had like a little drama program or whatever. And my middle school did have a drama program, which I had auditioned and got into.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's your...
I had auditioned and got into the high school, but my mom was like, you need to do something that's going to get you a real job.
Yeah.
And, I don't blame my parents at all because I'm grateful for their direction and their stewardship of my life, when I was a child, because I feel like it definitely exposed me to a lot in the world, which lends itself to my craft. But by the time I got to high school, the audition got in. She was like, no, did you go somewhere else? I got into this math and science academy. And so I was there and I was doing math and science academia. But at the same time, I still had my little thirst for the arts. And so I was always in the newspaper finding like, you know, whether it was like a monologue class or a scene study class or whatever it was, puppeteering class even.
Oh my gosh.
I think at one point I was like, I'm gonna be a model and was like doing runway.
Yes.
And I would find all these different things. I'd be like, oh mom, can you take me to this address?
Not tell it
like, what do you have going on now? And sometimes I'd be like, oh, it's a school project, you know?
I love that the drive and the love for it has been with you since such a young age, but also that you were so determined. Like you didn't, like, even though your parents were sort of, you know, not overly excited about you going into the arts, that you still were even still trying to find it because you love it. That's someone who loves it to me, who has like a love for it.
My dad definitely was like, whatever makes you happy, Adrienne, do whatever makes you happy. And so I'm grateful to him for always instilling that in me. My mom was always do whatever makes you happy too. I think she was just on the more practical side of things. And I don't blame them because I think I'm one of the only people in my family that took a stab at trying to have a career as a professional career as an artist. You know, most of family members are blue collar workers, you know, they work in corporate America, things like that. So the understanding of how to take a passion and make it your profession wasn't in their understanding at the time. And so and now they understand because now they sending everybody to me. Oh, you know, so-and-so's daughter is a writer now and she wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay.
Of course.
So now I become the beacon of light. You know,
I love that.
I mean, that's what we think of you as anyway, Adrienne. The beacon of light.
That brings me to a question that I think I've asked you before in person, but I want you to talk about it again because I can understand that suddenly, you know, doing theater and doing stage work, but probably, and being able to support yourself, had them feel confident, but then landing Orange is the New Black. That probably changed everything.
Almost, friend, almost, because remember when Orange first came out, it was a new platform.
That was my question. That's my question. What was that like?
Yeah.
What was that? Because we think like you invented.
Like, so what is it? I was like, I can literally remember the conversation with my agent when she was explaining to me what streaming was and it being. She was like, it's kind of like a YouTube channel, but they're doing original. Yeah, this is how she was explaining to me. She was like in Genji Cohan, and I'm like Googling Genji. I was like, oh, Genji, Weeds, first business of my life. Yeah, of course, love it, loved her, loved Weeds, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so for me, I was just resting on the laurels of the fact that it was Genji Cohan. And at the time, I only had sides. I didn't even have a full script, so I didn't even have the whole script to go on. And then the fact that it was Netflix, which I was such a fan of the, you know, the red envelopes that Netflix was just doing in the beginning.
Yes.
So I was like, boom, I'm already a subscriber.
That was the first series. Orange is the New Black was the first series I watched in my hotel room in Halifax from beginning to end. Like at the end of the day, I watched a whole series. What's going on?
God.
But I smashed it. It wasn't like, there was no hesitation. Yeah. My dog had to pee. I was like, pee in the bathroom, duh.
Yeah,
I love you so much, but pee in the bathroom, my friend.
Yeah, but it was this, you know, figuring out this new medium at the same time. But I remember my first day on set. And by the time I came on, they were already a few episodes in. So by the time I came on, it was, you know, kind of well underway, and I was meeting new people, and they were like, yeah, these are the ropes, you know, and like everything felt like a regular TV show, you know, in terms of the filming of it and so forth and so on. It was just like, so how is this going to pan out on the screen? And by that time, Netflix had just launched their first one, which was, if y'all remember,
the president.
No, that wasn't the first one. The first one was not Hemlock Grove.
Oh, you're right.
It was the one with the guy from Sopranos.
Yes.
He was like a Lily Hammer.
I forgot that was the first one.
You know what? Funny thing is,
that.
I actually was asked this as a test question from a Netflix executive. They were like, "What were the first few shows before Netflix? I mean, for Orange is the New Black, Orange is the Black." Because everyone thought Orange was the first one, and I was like, "No." I remember because I was looking as we were filming. I was like, "Let me see what they got out here, so I can kind of see how they gonna do this." Let me see how they gonna do this. And so Lilyhammer was on, and I was like, okay, it still looks and feels like a real TV show, cool. And then after Lilyhammer, it was House of Cards.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, the president one.
The president one. Yes.
Hemlock Grove. That was like their vampire one. And then Orange. So Orange was technically their 4th series to go streaming.
Wow.
But had you watched Orange is the New Black before you were on it?
The one that broke the bank.
You do it. Right? Yes.
But Adrienne, had you watched the show before you were on it?
Orange?
Yeah.
No, because
like they hadn't shot anything.
I was a part of the first season. So
yeah.
I watched it before it aired on Netflix because I was good friends with one of the producers. And when we had ended the show, right before we premiered, she was about to leave to go back to LA. And she was having like a little farewell party. Lisa Denicore, what's up, Lisa? And she was like, hey guys, I got the first episode if y'all want to watch it. So we were like, yeah. So me, Danielle, Samira, Laura, Uzo, Vicky, Taylor, Natasha, Selenis, we all like were at her apartment and we watched the first season. And the funny thing is, I wasn't in it. I wasn't in the first episode. So everyone else that was there, when they would see themselves show up, they were like, oh yeah. And I'm just sitting there like,
no, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You did. That was a really good interpretation of that line.
But I have to go back just a smidgen because people don't even know about this marketing world that you lived in. Like, can you just tell me a little? I know I'm backtracking, but because I think that's such a big deal for folks to go from something that is secure, like maybe in the world of marketing advertising, to something that's not secure, like maybe the entertainment business. Can you tell me a little bit about that chapter of your life?
Yeah, so my background was in psychology, history, and religion from college. And I had done some internships.
Did not know that. You're a whiz.
Yeah,
I have no idea who you are anymore.
Internships during my college years that were like event marketing, event sponsorship, things like that. And so when I finished college, I had actually gotten a job to be a financial advisor. And I was like, that's really not something I want to do. And so I just moved back to Atlanta, moved back home in my mama's daddy's house.
A couple of fire pokes in your eyes. Forget about that.
Trying to figure it out, working in retail at Victoria's Secret. What? And one of the guys, here's a funny story. One of the guys that was, he worked in the stock room. His father was Michael Eric Dyson, if you know that name. Cause I was like, Michael Eric Dyson, he is a huge activist, civil rights, he's a spokesman. And I was like, I remember when I met him, I was like, your name is like the Michael Eric Dyson. He was like, yeah, that's my dad. I was like, what? So we began this conversation, and lo and behold, Michael's wife, Marcia, was like a mentor and good friends with my first boss. And I was like, I need a job. Like, I love this retail, but I can't do this forever. And so she introduced me to this marketing, this woman who owned this small boutique marketing firm called Indigo Productions. And that's how I started marketing. And we would do event sponsorships. Like I worked with the Coca-Cola Company, the US Army, Hilton Hotels Group. I mean, you name any of those big Fortune 5s. I would do big events for them. Like, so for example, one of our big events was Essence Music Festival in New Orleans, which was amazing, okay? Because I got to go down there, I got to food sample, I got to site visit, all that kind of stuff. But we would put together these big activations, sponsorship activations for these companies. And that's what I did for years. And so it really taught me the value of, and how I translated this into my acting, it really taught me the value of understanding your product and how to get it out there to people in a catchy way.
I love that.
That they could, latch on to the idea of it, because that's what they're hiring you for, right? Take my idea, my product, and sell it. And so when I started acting, I had to think of myself as that product.
The product.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, that's really interesting.
That's brilliant.
I was literally telling this actor this the other day because she is optioning managers and she's never had one before. They're optioning managers and they never had one before. And they were asking me questions about, you know, how to go about finding a right manager and XYZ. I said, you know, the biggest challenge that every actor, once they can understand this about themselves, they'll soar, because a lot of actors think it's just about talent. And don't get me wrong, it's important. Your talent is important. Your talent is your unique signature stamp. Absolutely. But what gets you to a place of just being that actor that goes out and just auditions forever, but never books, to finally booking and being a professional working actor, is seeing yourself as the commodity and the product.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's like, I love to say that, but I hate to say that, because sometimes when you get in TV film, you really see how much of a commodity you are. And you're like, hold on, I am a human being here.
Yeah.
Don't throw me around on set.
But I'm so happy you said that, because I don't think enough people acknowledge it, particularly women. Like, I think we're reticent to think of ourselves as commodity or as businesses or as brands for a myriad of reasons. But I think once you can sort of accept that, then you can take control of it. You know, still an artist. I'm still an artist. I still love being an artist, but I am a business. I market this brand. Yes.
I don't think branding means like it's dirty, though. It just means that you know yourself. So if I know yourself,
I am, you know your worth,
yeah,
and you won't let people,
know your worth. I mean, that's
because a lot of people, if you don't know your worth, they'll tell you your worth and they'll treat you however they want to treat you.
Yeah. But it's also like going back a little bit to the ego world of like, why am I not booking all the roles of like 18-year-old drug addicts? Oh, wait a second. I'm not 18. I certainly don't look like a drug addict. I mean, not in a different version, maybe. But like, why don't I know my brand enough so I'm not pretending that I can just do everything all the time? It's a little bit stay in your lane world.
Lorraine Toussaint, who played V in our second season of Orange, a formidable actress. I mean, I will say that was the beautiful thing about working on Orange. I got to experience, you know, actors that were very new in their career versus those that were very seasoned. And the ones that were, and I learned from all of them, the ones that were very seasoned, I definitely like soaked up every ounce of advice they gave. And one of the things that Lorraine would say to me was, you know, every actor must understand their wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your wheelhouse? And you can go a little bit you know, beyond it and a little bit inside of that, but you must know and stay within your wheelhouse. And so I've just been trying to know that, you know, and so that's why I was saying, like, I start this process now on this show, and I'm learning and still discovering and still perfecting my wheelhouse. So I think the life of an artist is never at a point of you've reached the top.
No,
I always want to be striving to be a GOAT. I don't ever want to be a GOAT. Maybe
the moments before. Yeah, I love that. That makes me want to ask you. So you after this marketing gig, you found theater, and then you hit this insane show, and it was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were everywhere. I remember when y'all were.
Can I say this real quick, Amanda? Because I think a lot of people need to hear this point. I'll always try and include this in my story about my life, because a lot of people who are just, you know, working in their office jobs or whatnot and wanting to transition into art, they want, like, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? I'm a prayer. I'm a manifester. I believe in those things. I believe that you speak what you want into the universe. And so I remember I had come to this sort of standstill in my career in marketing. I was like, okay, I kind of reached what I can do here. There's not much more I can really get from this. I wanted to really fully step into my acting, but obviously, you know, you're getting paid every day. You got your stability. You don't want to rock that boat. Yeah. But I was like, if there's a bigger plan for me, God, universe, you know, then I'm opening myself and I'm making myself available to it. And I even said, I was like, I'm too scared to move myself. You have to move me. You have to make this happen. And less than a month later, I got laid off my job. And I remember I was in my boss's office, and she's telling me, you know, because they had to dissolve the company. They were closing the doors. They no longer going to be Indigo Productions. And I'm just sitting there crying my eyes out. And she's trying to comfort me and tell me, it's okay, you'll get another job. You know, you're very talented, da, 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 da. And I said to her, I said, no, you don't understand. This is an answer to my prayers. Because
Yes,
I was
this is
too
the
afraid at that
sign.
time. I was like, this is the
Yeah.
sign. Because I had literally been having this conversation with myself. I call, when I speak of God and things like that, a lot of times I think it's the most edified version, the best version of myself that I'm like trying to attain.
So well said. So well said.
And so I was like, no, this is what I had been praying about. I had been wanting this opportunity to step away from here, but I couldn't. And she looked at me like, but that's really what was my transition. It was not just me saying like, I'm quitting my job and I'm going, but literally I was like, universe, if there's something more that you have for me to do, you got to move me, because I'm too afraid to move myself.
But then yourself had to do the work for the audition. Like, sure, the universe gave you that door.
It was like, I issued the challenge, the universe responded, so then I had to do the follow through.
Yeah. You couldn't have gone like, okay, universe, work out for me so I have a six-pack. Okay, universe, memorize my lines. So I don't have
to look at yourself in the mirror like, where you at? No. I still had to put in the work. So I got coaches. I kind of went back to my roots of when I was in high school, and I went back to the newspaper, and I was finding auditions and support that way. And that's how I like inched my way back into the community, until I finally said, all right, now let me branch outside of Atlanta and go to New York and figure it out. Okay, so I just wanted to add that. So you were saying about Orange.
No, I love that. It's not really about Orange. It's, I guess it's a follow-up to what you were just saying, is that when you reach a high like that and then you move on, when Orange ended, did you sort of do the same thing? Did you say, universe, what's next? Where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah, I did. And I even now, because as you know, I'm not coming back for season 4 of PHC. So I'm like, all right, what's the next journey? And I'm making myself available to that. I think
that's a crying shame. Just so you know, there's nobody in our community that think that's okay, that Pretty Hard Case isn't coming back. It was such a funny show. You and Meredith had such awesome chemistry. The stories, the jokes, the balance between jokes and heart. So there's it's a whole bucket of ramen.
We'll get into that. But what I will say, once you've gotten to a high like that, again, it's kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. I never want to think I'm at the height of anything. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if I had it that good, then what's the next good? And then the even next good after that. So for me, I hope and I pray that to manifest an even bigger and better and greater experience. And I was literally, so I've been coaching for this new project that I want to book. Yeah. And this character is African, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, I got to do an accent. Oh my God. And already I'm like discounting myself and humbling myself, because I'm like, ooh, child, I know there's
is that not in your
out there. It's ancestrally in my wheelhouse. Yeah. And I need to reconnect with that. And that's exactly the conversation I was having with this person, because they were like, Adrienne, it's in you. I can hear it. You have it. You just got to believe in yourself. And then they even said, and believe this is only the beginning. If you can get this, then imagine what other doors will open for you.
Oh, yes.
Other things. And so I'm sitting here like discounting myself, because I'm like, I messed up a few words within the dialogue that didn't sound, so Ghanaian. And this person was like, this is only a little bit to the bigger picture. So if anything, it just helps me get over myself a lot sooner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It helps me get over you can't do this a lot sooner, and be like, this is only a fraction of what is in store for you.
Yes, I love that.
I read that when you went back to, you did a panel at the new school as an alumni, and they like roared, like there was like some sort of Olympic Oscar-winning roar for you. Because, do you remember this? And I read about this, but what do you think it was about like Black Cindy that rocked the world so much? Because it does feel like that character and your work on that show really stood out.
Did I change colors to y'all real quick?
No.
Okay, good. Okay.
Well, like what color do you think you just changed into?
Well, because on my phone, it went into a battery saver mode, so it just went grayscale.
Oh no, you look really great.
Okay, y'all can edit that around that. But anyway, I think what I try to approach in my work is authenticity and honesty in everything. Yes. And so even in the flaws, I try to be honest about that. And so when I talk to students about my life, about my career, about my choices, I'm just as honest about the mistakes as I am about the successes. And I think when I talk from that perspective, people see themselves, they see, you know, what they did and okay, well, she did, that happened to her too. And she managed to rebound, or she managed to, recover. And so I think it's that. I think it's the fact that people resonate with what is being said, because it's from a place of honesty. It's from a place of truth. And I just always try to be that as hard as it may be, even for me, as I'm thinking it and like, should I say this? Cause I don't know how people gonna receive, the fact that I was doing Orange is the New Black, but still had EBT card. That's our version of food stamps. Yeah. So, because I wasn't making the money. I wasn't making the money in the beginning. So it's those kind of honesties and those kind of truths that I think resonate.
Yeah. I was going to say that about you performing with you for 3 years, and so knowing and doing a variety of scenes. We had emotional one in the hospital. We've had ridiculous ones.
Because you played sisters.
Played sisters.
Oh,
we played sisters.
Oh wait, did we lose you? We lost her.
Oh, because her phone died.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. We're going to pick her up. I bet she's going to switch phones, and then we'll wrap it up real fast because I know your time limit. Yeah. I know. I see your face. We can't. We'll figure this out. She'll come back. How are you anyway? It's nice to see you. Things are going great. I knew that was going to happen.
I keep looking like she's going to.
I should have said, plug it in, plug it in, plug it in. So far, so good, though. I feel like it's this is a great opportunity for me to tell you about
Fresca.
Fresca. Every gulp makes you feel Fresca-ish. Oh, here she is.
Here she goes. She plugged it in, she plugged it in, she plugged it in, and she coming
did
back.
You plugged it in.
So sorry.
You plugged it in. Yeah, okay. There she is. All right.
We knew you came back.
Wait, so let me give you that, Amanda. So because you two play sisters, right?
Yeah, yes, we played sisters on Pretty Hard Cases. And what I was going to say is that there's, even though the character Kelly Duff was sort of, a badass and on the surface, like street talking, quick talking, I don't know what the terminology is. There's such a vulnerability to the people that you play because you as Adrienne are such a vulnerable person. And you really allow people in. So I think that's the takeaway for me, where I think a lot of people resonate with you. It's also you tell the truth. Yeah, like you tell the truth.
My friends, for as long back as I know, I'm rolling my eyes because I'm literally thinking of one friend in particular who says this to me all the time. But my friends from as far back as I remember have always been like, Adrienne, I can always tell what you're thinking because you just wear your emotions on your sleeve. And it's so true. Like if I'm mad, you will know that I'm mad,
I saw that about the lobster thing. I did see it now. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, no real lobster,
No, but I think that's good because then, like, I do feel like you're somebody who's trained authenticity is coming out in your performance now. Yeah. Like I don't.
And I think it's honestly, I think it's the fact that I gave myself, and again, giving homage and props to my parents. I think it's because they encourage me to experience life, all facets. They allow me to live abroad at a young age. When I was in high school, so I got to live in Spain and learn another culture and another language. And even that, like being in that newness of environment and people, it's like, you can't help but be yourself. Because when you're lost, you're lost. You can't be like, now I know exactly where I'm going. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I thank my parents for always encouraging me to just soak up life. Soak up life and people. And so from that, it's like, that's what I try to connect to. I try to think about things that I've experienced or I've witnessed or heard, or whatever, and just try to be honest about, okay, what that emotion is. But yeah, I've always been a wear my heart on my sleeves kind of girl.
Speaking of other cultures, even though it's not a different culture, can you talk to me about sort of the differences you observed filming in and working in America for all of your career and then making the transition to Canada? The difference in sets, people,
Look at your
culture.
face. We see everything. You're not hiding
I
anything.
know. You're not very good.
Okay. First of all, I love Canada.
I know you do. It loves you.
I mean, like, and y'all know the breakdown that I had, Amanda.
At the Firecracker event?
At the Firecracker event, just because it was so, I mean, the love was so real and so overwhelmingly, like, I was like, honestly, where do I begin? Because I'll begin quickly at the beginning. When I first came to Canada in 2018, in my terms, my memory, my first time. Like, my mom swears that I was there before, but I don't remember that as a kid. But as an adult, I remember going back to Canada and Toronto, okay, because I had a great time in Kensington Market. Yes, I did. But I swore then, I was like, I want to come back here. I want to work. I want to live. I want to see what it's like to, like, be in Canada. And so up lo and behold comes our cases, and I come. It's during a pandemic, so that was the biggest, I think, skew, right? Like, I feel like I didn't really just Canadian television filming from even its authentic self, because it was masked, we had tests, and I remember, because so much of the process, right, when you're making a TV show or making anything, it's about not just the actors, but it's the crew, it's the producers, it's everything. And doing the show for the first 2 years with everyone behind a mask, you kind of miss out on that connection,
100%.
Yeah.
To the point where I knew people's first names and everything, and I knew what their departments were or whatever. There were times where we were standing outside on a mass break, and I'd go like, "Oh, hi, my name is Adrienne. What's your name?" They'd be like, "It's me. It's I run sound." I'm like, "Oh, John, yeah, okay." So that was like the biggest, like, overall thing, right? It was just trying to be creative in an environment that wasn't really supportive. And I don't want to put that on Canadian television. I'll put that obviously on COVID or whatever. But Canadian television, and I haven't been on a lot of television shows. I've only been on one. But I filmed a couple of things in Canada at this point. But what I noticed, it's a very small community.
Yes.
It's a very small community.
You find that out when you're dating, huh?
You know who you date. Child, people knew where I lived. Like, I met people. I was meeting people like, "Oh yeah, I know you're staying in so and so's house." I'm like, how the hell you know where I live in?
Yeah.
It is.
So that was the first thing. But it's a very small community, and I think there's advantages and disadvantages to that. And I think one of the advantages, obviously, is that it's work and opportunities for those that are working, but for those that aren't, I think it's and this is the same issue even in the States. I just think Canadian television, because it's a smaller microcosm, that you can kind of see some of the glaring challenges more visibly.
Yeah, good point.
And so, and the reason why I say that is because when I, as we're getting into casting for certain things, certain characters, I knew directors wanted a certain authenticity of a certain role, if it was a Caribbean person, and they wanted the authenticity of someone that was Trinidadian, for example. And it was like, "Oh, get so-and-so, they're great with accents." Where it's like, or you could just find a Trinidadian actor that could do it.
Especially in Canada. Especially in Canada.
And so it's like those kinds of things and those kind of conversations I was privy to in this process. And I was like, okay, and I'm saying this as I'm trying to learn a Canadian accent. Just get a Ghanaian, So it's like two sides to every coin, right?
Yeah.
and you all mentioned this earlier, but the other thing was the severe lack of support behind the scenes when it comes to hair, in particular hair, makeup.
Adrienne had the wherewithal to have her own person, but like that's the first time it's been done. Had her own personal hair artist be flown up specifically for her. And I'm saying this like it's a huge, you should be commended for it, which you should be because it was a big fight. But I feel like shouldn't that just be the option? Like,
Yes. And, I will say to Canada's defense,
thank you.
There are people there that I've now, since I've been there a little bit longer, I've discovered. The other concern is that, and it's the same thing in the States, right? The hours that we work, the creativity is different. And so you take someone who's typically working in a salon on natural hair, because that was one thing I was very clear with the producers about. There weren't a lot of women in television, lead Black women in television, that wore their hair naturally, like myself. And I said, I want to be that representation for Black girls when they see me on television. I want them to see that, oh yeah, there can be leaders in a television show that are natural hair, that are Black women, that are full figured, that aren't this, docile Juliet type character, but as a commanding presence. That's why I loved working alongside you, Amanda, working alongside Karen. And in this season 3, you'll really see a concerted effort to really honor the different cultures. I think in general, Pretty Hard Cases did a great job at trying to honor, the diversity of Toronto. But I think in season 3, you really see how we just put that full steam ahead. And I'm really proud that if we were going to end, at least we ended on something I could be like, yeah, we rocked that. But yeah, it's been interesting. And I got to a point where after first season, I'll be honest, I wasn't quite happy with how my hair story went. And so I said, would y'all bring somebody from America? if we can't find anybody else.
You have to lead with these kind of steps though, right? Like by you asking that's a leadership role. And I have to say, like, Firecrackers, you coming to our party at the TIFF brunch, people are like, oh, okay, Adrienne Moore is here. And there was a level of, there's a level of leadership you do without even knowing.
Yes.
So making a choice or a suggestion of, can we bring my hair person from America, is the next time they'll go, hey, maybe we should make sure there's somebody, because we have people in Canada, but we have to make that move. We have to make that step.
We have to make that move. And then we also have to make it, I think, appealing for people who do natural hair, for example, because it's a different ball game. Like I said, they're used to, someone sitting in their chair, they do a little creative look, and then that person goes, and then the next person comes, sits in their chair, they do it, and they go. In TV film, it's about the continuity of it. You could be doing that same hairstyle for like 2 weeks.
Why do you think Amanda's wearing that wig right now?
Same hairstyle for 2 weeks, and you got to make it look the same. Because people will be like, her part was like 3 inches more to the left in the last scene.
That's continuity. Listen, speaking of parts, we have to part.
We do. Very good. Very good.
We don't want to. Look, we're never happy about saying goodbye, but we're going to do a wrap up. We're going to do 10 blazing questions, and they don't have to be anything other than what they are. But
no, that's not true. If you get them wrong, we shut it down and then we don't talk.
Oh, there is a dunk tank waiting for you, unfortunately. But that's how
y'all brought it to New York.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Okay, question 1.
I'm ready.
Ready? What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word, can't.
Ooh, I like that. Who would you love to work with?
Dead or still alive?
Anybody, dead, alive, both.
Cicely Tyson.
On this Zoom. What's that?
Well, I worked there about Zoom before.
Just jokes. That's jokes.
Adrienne, I could see that.
Yeah.
Nice. 3 words to describe your life right now.
total chaos, folks.
He threw in the folks. Go, Amanda.
One
Or
thing that
something
turns
different every day.
I mean, there's still,
I love that.
math isn't priority for this game.
Yeah, you did four fingers. That was like literally 3 words.
What one thing that turns you on creatively?
My fear.
Ooh, these are good ones.
What makes you feel powerful?
Surrenderance.
How do you think people see you?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I feel like I think people see me some way and then they be like, no, we see this. So what I will say is, how do I think people see me? Okay, I'll say it just because. Genius.
Say it. Good. Good.
That's what people tell me.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
In a short sentence, what is the best advice you ever got and the worst advice you ever got?
The best advice, always be learning. Never stop learning. Always be curious. Worst advice, make it up as you go along. I don't know if I necessarily believe in that.
Right.
And I think that was because when the person gave it to me, I was doing like one of my first interviews, and it was with a big, like, it was with Tamron Hall. And I was like, oh, she's a big name. Like, I'm nervous, right? And they were like, oh, just make it up. People don't know. People don't know all your life. Just make it up if you don't, whatever she
Make
asked.
up your life.
And I was like, people can fact check. So I think that whole make it up. If it doesn't,
next time I do an interview, I'm gonna just use your facts. I'd be like, I was born in Tennessee. I was working in a marketing firm.
One song that moves you.
One song. So many. It's definitely probably be in the gospel world because I draw so much inspiration from that. Never would have made it. Never would have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see how you were there for me, and I can. Yeah, that one.
Oh, come on now. We haven't even talked about your beautiful singing voice, so I'm glad we got that little sousson in there. What do you want to be reincarnated as?
One of my fucking dogs, because they live the good life.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, all of it. And finally, other than loved ones, fans, family, friends, what would you give it all up for?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I love that. I knew you were going to say it.
I know.
I knew you were going to say it. You're the only other one because that's my answer too. I love it. I knew you were going to say it, girl.
I know
my sister.
It's hard and it's challenging. I don't think I would be satisfied.
No. Look what we get to do, even the tough times. Yeah. Mine was either I wouldn't give it up or pecan pie. It's a really tough. You get it.
I get it. Right? And I get that. That is a contender.
Adrienne, this is so great to spend time with you. I mean, when we met on set and then we're able to have a little time together, I was like, oh, I just want more. I wanted Adrienne more. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yo, why did this girl, she was like, Adrienne C more? And I was like, I get it.
Oh no.
I was like, you see?
No, thank you.
More? No, likewise, Naomi. I think you're incredible. Amanda, I think the world of you. I'm just so honored that I got a chance to not only work with you, but get to know you during this process. You truly and really are my sister.
Adrienne.
And Naomi, you are my sister as well, even though, the hues are different. It don't matter.
I can change my filter.
We are human. We are human.
Yes,
and I love, you also have this beautiful authenticity about yourself and this warmth that when I now have been in your home, I'm like, oh, Yes.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real thing.
It's in, you have an aura, and it's like I saw the mommy in you. I saw the homemaker. I saw the wife. I was like, damn, like it wasn't already snatched up.
Yes.
We might have to have a conversation on the side. Like, let me know if things don't work out.
Well, let's make a promise. Let's make a promise. The three
Because
of
she
us.
got a job, she make money. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
She got a cute smile. Like,
oh,
let's make a promise. The three.
We don't work together now, so I can say it.
Let's just come on. Let's just kiss. Come on. Let's just make it. Let's make a promise. The next time we're in the same city, that it's I'm making lobster, and the three of us.
Oh God!
I promise. Pinky promise on the lobster.
Okay.
Oh, look at
your face.
Look at your face.
In the oven right now.
Adrienne, break legs with the continuing of honing and shaping this accent. You know, you already have it in your DNA, so I trust that it's going to be amazing. Break legs with the continuance of the play, and I just please continue to lead us because you do it so well, and you really mean so much to this community. Even though.
Sis. I take my, last thing I'll say, I take my page from you, and I will never forget how we stood up.
Yes.
For Nana on set.
We had to shut a set down, Naomi, because there was a problem. They just didn't want to do someone's hair. They didn't want to put the time into doing our third sister. There's three of us. They didn't want to take time to do her hair, so we rallied together, and it's the first time I've ever done that with an actor. And I would only want to rally with you.
And I'm telling you, like, if I didn't love you like already, like I was like, yo, I will ride or die with this motherfucker.
Me too.
I don't know if this is a censor, but I was like, this bitch is real. If y'all need to bleep that out, bleep it out.
No, we don't. We don't. We're keeping it in.
That moment, I was like, this is my real sister.
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah, me too.
Love you so much. If I'm in New York, I'm calling you. I'm calling you because I want to see your show, your play.
Okay, well, you got to come before March is out.
All right. You don't scare me.
Just a 10-hour drive to New York, you know.
You know, they have flights. They have things called aeroplanes.
Right. Because I was going there during pandemic. I wased trying to be on driving.
Look, we could talk forever. She's got to go chaperone a kids thing.
What'd you say?
She's got to go chaperone her kids.
Okay, go chaperone the kids. But also, Amanda, reach out to Olu and Samora because they're coming. They already got their tickets.
I know. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Love you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm loving these discussions so much, Amanda.
They overwhelm me.
They are overwhelming, but they're so important to me.
I really I really wish that she was here more, just because I think she could do so much for our business here, and not in particular specific to women of color. I just think women, there's such a confidence in her skin, and she's so articulate. Yeah, that's also vulnerability.
Like just coming to the TIFF party and being like, this is big for me, and going, this is big for me, as opposed to being, I don't know,
just a facade. And she's just so well spoken. And so, okay, so one thing you learned.
Oh my gosh, so much. Do you have something while I think about it and you can talk?
I learned that you're to never stop growing. And I love just reiterating that she never really wants to. Adrienne said something akin to, she never really wants to sort of reach the top. She always wants to be climbing towards it.
Yeah.
And she's just always to sort of continue evolving and learning and to be comfortable in that. I love that. Like you've never just made it. She's more comfortable in the place before that. I like that.
I love the discussion about theater too, about that being like your home and your gym and the place where you where we all cut our teeth, and how to go back there is such a reminder of the important stuff about the art, because then your opportunities of going deeper every night, where you don't get on film and TV, you get deeper every take, but that's like a different muscle.
I told you I did the workshop for 2 days, and it was like retraining a muscle where I was like, ow, I forgot I had these.
We forgot to ask her about the person to shine a light on.
Call her back.
I'll get it in the footnotes. I'll get her to do like a little video, but you give me yours.
Loose. Let's go, Amanda. Didn't even think about
Okay,
it
no, I thought of
today.
mine, so I'll tell you mine.
You do
Mine was
yours.
Alana Harkin, who was
Oh,
right, the front of the Atomic Fireballs with Samantha Bee and the Carver sisters, and then she went on to be a correspondent on Full Frontal. But Alana's now like she's directing, and she's been on tons of like sinking ship production shows as the mom. She and I played moms alternating, and she's just like herself in every way. Like when she's talking to her kids, she's the same way. She's talking to a group of people, which is directing, and she just stands behind her advocacy, whether it's in her tweets or whether it's in her Instagram posts. She's just like a real powerhouse person. And yeah, I love her.
do you know what I was thinking? This is a performer, not an actor. Well, no, she acts sometimes. Is Brooklyn Heights drag performer? She posted something that's not to leave on a sad note, but she posted something the other day just about the new laws being enforced in Tennessee about just making drag and drag shows illegal, and just how it's gone. It's now to me gone to a place of absolute absurdity. Brooklyn's always been such an advocate for her community, but also just such a kick-ass performer who's always wanting to produce here in Canada and come back home. Has some things under her belt, so I'd say Brooke.
We didn't even talk about Tennessee. That would have been great to hear.
No, I know, especially from Adrienne, but there's too much to talk about.
Too much. There's too much.
Spoiled. We're spoiled.
Time. I love you so much.
I got to go with some kids. I'll be back in.
I would like
40.
a picture of you surrounded by children and the rings that you're
no,
selling.
We can't. I had to sneak that one of Aiden's. You can't take pictures of people's kids.
I don't know children's life. Do you think I have kids? Take more pictures of all my children. All of them. All right.
I'm just not allowed on the phone to take a picture. I'll get in trouble.
All right. I don't want you to lose your parent license.
Get out.
Hey, just so you know, if you want more information about the Blaze session, hashtag the Blaze sessions, or Amanda Brugel or Naomi Sneakus, go to FirecrackerDepartment.com. Follow us on all the handles at FirecrackerDEPT. And don't forget to rate and review, because that helps more people find this amazing discussion and more.
Good luck getting through this one today. This one was...
It was good. Wow. Even to the last 10 questions, I was like, bam, bam, bam. She was like knocking it out of the park.
Knocking it.
Love you. The Blaze session is hosted and produced by myself, Naomi Sneakus, and Amanda Brugel. Jennifer Morose is our consulting producer and cheerleader extraordinaire. Pal Carranza is our communications manager and content creator, with support from Chelsea McKenzie and Morgan Walker. Original graphics by Vicky Breyer-Breer and Becca Buttygay. Anna Marodin is our firecracker of all trades, with doing our YouTube artistic management, our newsletter, and also content creation. Jennifer Rowley is our amazing sound designer and basically editing wizard. Rebecca Gismani does our show notes and additional writing. Sedna Fiati does our outreach and consultation management. Shrishti Jaiswal is our video editor. Music by Sophia Canali and Arthur Kaplan. Big thanks to the entire Firecracker Department Actioneer team that keep this community going. That's Veronica Martin, Anita McFarlane, Pau Carranza, and Liesl Lafferty. For more information about the Blaze sessions or the programs, workshops, panels that are offered through the Firecracker Department, go to FirecrackerDepartment.com and follow us at FirecrackerDEPT on all your platforms. If you enjoyed our episode today, leave a comment or maybe something one of our guests said really sparked some inspiration. We'll share this episode with a friend. And if you didn't like the episode, you know what? Just keep it to yourself. No one likes a complainer. Now go on out there, take some creative action, and then share it with the Firecracker Department community. We'd love to hear what you're working on. Bye for now.
Hi, this is Veronica Martin, head of Firecracker Mentorship. Thanks for listening to the Blaze Sessions.